do. And we are live, man. Hey guys, welcome to the Superherocuts podcast, where we talk about things Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. It's your boy CB Hayes, joined by Jerry, aka Comic Cuts. Brother, how are you doing?
Fantastic, bro. Thanks for asking. How you doing?
Bro, living the dream, man. You already know what's going on in our household this week, so we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
We're actually going down to VA to Virginia on Thursday to see if it's what we want. So pretty excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy for you.
So I'll definitely send you some pics, obviously.
Cool. I hope it's what you want. But I'm sure you'll be happy either way.
Yes, sir. So we have a funny, I think this is a funny docket because we have just some funny things that I think like when we talk about Deathstroke. I think it's gonna be a funny topic because if you don't know Jerry, whenever Jerry is right, he's gonna like, and it's not really to me, but Jerry will spite you when he's right. You know what I mean? Because it isn't often that we get things right, and I low-key do the same thing. But when we call some things and they actually come to life, Jerry does his thing where he will spite you because a lot of people on TikTok and a lot of people on YouTube were doubting this theory. So I'm actually really excited to get to the Death Show topic. But before we get to that, Jerry did send me this, and I was gonna make the Death Show topic number one, but this was kind of trending. And then I saw Den of Nerds do a whole topic on it. So I was like, you know what? Let's follow the algorithm. Let's talk about Avengers 5. So, by the way, it's this sent to me by Jerry. So let's read this. Avengers 5 will reportedly now be a standalone film. According to the insider Daniel RBK, Avengers 5 has shifted to become a more standalone film. The story will be largely disconnected from Avengers Secret Wars. So, what do you gather from this rumor?
So a couple of things. There's a lot to take away from this news. Number one, it means that this Avengers. I'm going to start referring to things in the MCU as an Avengers cycle. Think of Infinity War and Endgame as one Avengers cycle. I would say Avengers 1 is one cycle, and I would also say Age of Ultron is its own cycle. Okay. And not all cycles are equal. But in our case of Avengers 5 and what's likely going to now be 6 and 7, I think it's smart because I think that they're going to create two Avengers cycles out of this. And I think that that's important. And I think it's important for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't think they can abandon Kang for a lot of reasons. I think it would show that they don't believe in their product and they would abandon a major plan that a lot of fans were invested in, myself included. I always like to say myself included.
Very invested, by the way.
Yeah, because there are a lot of fans who will be like, oh, well, fans want this. Like, shut up. That's what you want. So I'm going to tell you, that's what I want. All right? I want Kang, number one. Number two, if it's going to be Doctor Doom, which it obviously is going to be Doctor Doom in 6 and 7, and maybe even 5, they need more time with Doctor Doom. You can't have one movie with Doctor Doom and you know how much I love Magneto, but imagine them doing one movie or like 1.5 movies with Doctor Doom getting like something like 40 minutes total screen time. And then we go into the Mutant Saga and someone like Magneto, who you know how much I love, but if you only do one movie with Doctor Doom, you're going to end up giving Magneto more screen time than him. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a way to judge something, but it is an indicator. And you need to give someone like Doctor Doom, number one, the proper introduction. Number two, some time in the MCU where he has caused some kind of deceit and chaos for our heroes. And number three, you need to be able to obviously wrap it up in an epic way. And I think that adding another Avengers movie into this plan is a good way to do that. I also think, and you're going to like this one, but if they are going to bring back any characters like Iron Man, I think it would be much more appropriate to do that if they had a full Avengers cycle without them. You can't bring Iron Man back the very next Avengers cycle. It doesn't work. How do you kill someone off and bring them right back? But if Avengers 5 is its own cycle, you could bring him back in the redemption arc in the final Secret Wars, not 6, but Avengers 7. It would make a lot more sense, and that would make a much more compelling case. And it gives them a lot more freedom to play around and do these things and take their creative liberties and tell a compelling story rather than something that was probably going to be rushed. Because fans, think about this. We've all been disappointed to some extent, some more than others, with the MCU post Endgame, right? If Avengers 5 were to come out tomorrow, do you think that would be a good movie? Do you think people would be ready for it? We're nowhere near ready for Avengers 5. So slow things down and add an extra movie, it makes sense. And I'm all for it. I think it's great news. But Avengers 5 better have Kang, and it better be Kang-centric. They can't abandon it. Marvel can't say we don't believe in our own product. That's a horrible statement for the MCU franchise to make. And, listen, I see a lot of fans arguing online, oh, well, they could do multiple Kang variants. They don't need to. Like, it's such a stupid idea that, like, oh, well, you know what? We had to get rid of Jonathan Majors, so, like, now we should get, like, 20 people to play Kang. Like, no, they could just find a replacement and do exactly what they were going to do with Jonathan Majors. Duh.
Yeah, right. Man, yeah. that Jonathan, that thing still hurts me to this day, but we're not going to go down the rabbit hole. So I agree with most of what you said. I do think that it is smart to do this Avengers film now, and then you prolong Secret Wars. But I do disagree with going with Kang for the Avengers 5. And here's the reason why, because I think that Dr. Doom can play the role of what Age of Ultron played. Where like Thanos, there wasn't really a trace of Thanos in Avengers Age of Ultron. But because of Vision and the Soul Stone, you knew that it was going to lead to Thanos, you know what I mean? Or right. the Mind Stone, sorry. And you knew that with us finally seeing a Infinity Stone, we're like, okay, we know that Vision and Thanos are going to clash at a point. And I think that with having Dr. Doom come into your Avengers 5, I think that you can use him to push more multiversal stuff with Kang the Conqueror. And I think that he can play that kind of role, because I do agree with what you said, right? Marvel can't show us that they don't believe in the product, aka Kang. And I do think that having someone that can build up to Kang the Conqueror would be an awesome thing. And if it is someone like Giancarlo, I would feel like they are undermining Kang by making him the villain of Avengers 5 and then maybe benching him for 6 and 7. If that makes sense. Well, hold on one second. So I would like something to where maybe if the Fantastic Four pushed Doctor Doom a little bit, and then we maybe see Doctor Doom and maybe Doctor Strange 3 or something like that, and then we end up getting a Avengers movie with Doctor Doom and Kang having some part in it behind the scenes, or maybe Kang sending one of his variants, I'm not sure, to help Doom or something like that. But I think that having Dr. Doom take that lead in Avengers 5, he takes the role that Ultron played. And a lot of people hated on Age of Ultron back in the day. But when you watch Age of Ultron 2 Infinity War, it is one of the most perfect setups for that film. And I think that's what a Avengers 5, and even if the villain isn't Dr. Doom, I think it should be someone else that's not Kang as the center villain. I think they have to choose someone that's going to be able to intro us into this most powerful multiversal machine of Kang the Conqueror.
So number one, I don't think Dr. Doom, I think you could have him in Avengers 5. I think you could totally do it. And, Kang and Doom work together all the time, which we've spoken about. And, we both agree that Dr. Doom is probably going to be the guy to take out Kang. And I think that, you could even do Avengers 5 and have Doom come in at the end or even in the post-credit. Like, imagine them doing Doctor Doom showing up in the post credit, killing Kang, and cutting the screen to the credits. Like that would be so fire. And they could do stuff like this. I think a lot from. I I've said this a lot in the past about like people in sneaker culture, and I'm starting to see it with people in comic book movie culture on X. There are so many stupid takes that it makes me embarrassed to be a part of this thing sometimes. I got to tell you. And a lot of that mentality is like, oh, well, they did Avengers Infinity War and then they did Endgame. So like that's what they're going to do again. They're going to
Oh
do
God.
the exact same thing just with Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Like, bro, this isn't like a checkers board. It doesn't have to match perfectly, and it's just like, these people think they should be making movies too, which is the craziest part because they have no creativity. They can't even imagine something different than something that they've already seen, literally. So that bothers me. And, I listen, I think that this is going to be a very different, especially Secret Wars. I think Secret Wars is going to be a very different Avengers movie from what we've seen. We're starting to see people say, throw in words like more grounded, and more grounded to me means a more faithful, deep character analysis rather than an epic sci-fi battle landscape like
Yeah.
the final scene in not the final scene, but the final battle in Endgame. Sorry. So, and listen, I think there is something to be said for that kind of battle scene with the portals and the characters returning and selling tickets. And I'm sure they're going to want to do something like that at the very least, the second Avengers cycle upcoming, not the Avengers 5. But I don't think it's going to be to the same scale as it was in Endgame. But they're going to have to do something because the MCU has always sold on spectacle. But I think it's going to be much more toned down. And you also have to remember there was a time where more grounded battle scenes felt larger than life. I mean, when I was growing up and I saw Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man 2 fighting Doc Ock, like that felt like a larger than life battle. But when you put that next to something like Avengers Endgame's battle at the end, like that was, expansive and grand. And the more they talk about this movie, the more it seems like they're kind of drifting away from that idea, which is interesting. And as much as I think that the MCU has to sell on that, I would love to see them take the MCU somewhere that we've never been in these next two Avengers cycles. And by the way, speaking about somewhere we've never been, and that's kind of one of the things that Marvel did with Infinity War and Endgame. They took the MCU where it's never been. And I'm not saying that in a reciprocative sense, but I'm saying it in a strategy sense. And I think that is likely for the next two Avengers cycles.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, I think that the MCU is taking the Dark Knight trilogy strategy. As much as I hate to say this, and this is what I think is happening, right? Because this is facts. The reality is that if you took Avengers 1, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame, you would understand the MCU universe to a degree. You would have a well-versed view if you didn't watch any solo films and you just watched all of the Avengers films. You would eventually end up knowing who all the characters are, etc., etc. Right? Because sorry, Regime.
I was going to say, were you done?
No,
I don't want to cut you off. So, it's interesting you say that because when I rewatch the MCU, like if you rewatch the first Guardians movie where they meet the Infinity Stones for the first time, those scenes that plant the future of the MCU
Yeah.
are so minimal. They're very short. They come and they go. You
Yeah.
know, they are not there to define that individual unit of a movie. You know, they are there to help plan it and enhance the experience for diehards like us. And every time I see a scene like that, I always am like, I wish they would go further into that. But I understand it's a business and they want to sell tickets. And to sell a lot of tickets, they have to be able to sell the ticket while saying, you could enjoy this movie without watching 20 movies that you haven't seen yet.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and that's a big part of the sell of a ticket, because not everyone is like us and wants to watch 30 movies
Exactly.
to be up to date.
Yeah, bro, look, because there's a lot of people that came on the train when Civil War dropped. A lot of people only watched Civil War, Black Panther, and then Infinity War, and like a lot of people didn't see Iron Man 3, bro. A lot of people didn't see Iron Man 2. A lot of people didn't see Iron Man 1. And the reality is that a lot of people jumped on the train late. And I think that Black Panther was what really started the run, because that movie grossed bonkers, you know. And then
I
a lot
just
of
watched it again. It is
what a
incredible.
great, oh my god,
Yeah.
top five MCU film of all time, hands down.
It is.
Might be top 3, or might be no, it's top five. Anyways, so I think that what Marvel is going to do, because of the fumblage of of the face, and I like a lot of the projects in the last couple of phases. Like, I'm not here to say like that I dunk on it, but even though I like something, I can still admit that it's not the same aura that we had back in the day. I think that they're going to kind of put everything into these 3 films, and that's kind of my view of it. Is that they're like, hey, a lot of these projects are kind of mid, and we messed up, but we are going to kind of encompass these next maybe 2 to 3 phases in 3 to 4 films. And that's why I say, like, they are taking the Dark Knight approach, right? Because from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight, you already know what happened in between those films by just watching the first 2 minutes, or by watching the first action scene of The Dark Knight. Like, watching the first scene of The Dark Knight, you understood what happened at the end of Batman Begins. And then in the first probably 10 minutes of The Dark Knight Rises, you understood what happened from the end of The Dark Knight to The Dark Knight Rises. And that's what I think that they're going to do with the Avengers films. And if that is done, I think that is one of the most genius ways to bring fans back. And I'm not in, because look, I'm gonna be real. Like, as much as I'm rooting for the Fantastic Four, I don't see the Fantastic Four doing $1 billion. The best I see the Fantastic Four doing is 500 million. And I really think this movie is going to gross, and 500 million is me being nice. I think that this movie's probably going to gross around 450 to 400, which isn't bad. I
think it's going to be 350 to 400. I actually, they're not outside of like our world of comics. They're not widely known. They haven't been on an animated show that's hot in a long time. Kids don't really know these characters, and it's not like someone, it's not like putting a S logo on the chest and selling a ticket. It's not Superman.
Exactly.
You have to remember that.
Unless if the trailer is one of the greatest things we've ever seen of all time, I think it's doing 400 to 450. And I mean, we obviously know that Deadpool Wolverine is doing $1 billion easily, but other than that, like, all of the other projects on the docket, I don't really see grossing $1 billion. And this also, brings up the fact that this is I'm not trying to mimic or copy what happened in the past, but this mimics kind of what we grew up with, right? Where Iron Man 1 didn't gross $1 billion, right? Captain America 1 didn't gross $1 billion. Thor 1 didn't gross $1 billion. Then we got to Avengers 1, which went crazy, right? It grossed, it went wild. And so I think that we're back at that step 1 phase where these films aren't going to be doing the craziest, but they will be successful. And because of that, Marvel is going to put their all into these Avengers films. And that's kind of, and Jerry, that's kind of my view at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the early Marvel movies walked so the Dark Knight trilogy could run, so the MCU learned how to do the franchise right and is doing a marathon. That's how I would call it. you got to give Nolan and the Dark Knight trilogy credit, because this world that we live in wouldn't be what it is if it weren't for that trilogy. Fact.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I partially agree that I partially agree. The Dark Knight success is what is does
Whether you like the
it
movie
does
or
play a big
not,
part.
that movie was a game changer for the comic book movie genre.
Yeah. Now, I opinionatedly think Iron Man 1 plays a bigger role, but I do think that The Dark Knight is right under Iron Man as one of the most important superhero films of all time. Batman is noticed as a cool character. To think about a guy that dresses at night with a freaking horns on his head, or a freaking bat with whatever bat ears. You know what I mean? So I can't hate on that. Okay, let's read some chats. Let's see. In my opinion, I don't think they should do a prototype scene in Endgame for Secret Wars. I would just have the 1999 Avengers teaming up with the Fox X-Men, Toby, Andrew, and a couple other variants. I don't really think they're going to do a portal scene, bro. I just think that these people are too creative to recopy something that they did. So I'm on the same wave as you. That's something I've been saying. People don't watch everything, and there's something the MCU and the DCU needs to know. They need to make movies where you don't need X, Y, and Z. Exactly, bro. And that's why I think that Marvel Studios is going to encompass a lot of their stuff into these 3 films, which gets me pretty excited, because I think that we're going to get a lot in these movies. Don't be shocked if these are 3-hour films. Don't be shocked. I don't know if Deadpool and Wolverine is making $1 billion. The current situation Disney's in. No, bro. They literally sold out so quick. I mean, they're breaking records, bro. This movie's definitely doing $1 billion, hands down. I mean, this is going to be universal. Okay, so I think that's really all we got to say on Avengers 5. I mean, we hope the movie's freaking successful, man. You know, we are in need of an Avengers film. It's kind of been too long. We should have got one last year, in my opinion. So I'm pretty happy that we're finally seeing something. And
we are gonna hook up some fans with tickets. We're gonna come up with something. But I will say, the more you comment, like someone like Hungry Almighty, we got you on your ticket. You're a loyal fan. But we're gonna come up with something else for some other fans as well. But Hungry Almighty, we definitely got you. And Chicks.
Hungry and Chicks, DM me, and we're gonna get you guys squared away. Opening weekend. Okay, so now this is the topic that Jerry is about to go to town on. So I'm about to just read this, and then I'm gonna let my brother flow, because there's some gloating that needs to happen. Okay, so this random person at Arjun Singh, he said this: at James Gunn, please let me know, no, please wink if you have plans for Deathstroke. I am waiting for my boy to shine for so long. And James Gunn winked. So that right there just confirms that James Gunn is working on Deathstroke to be in the DCU, most likely the Brave and Bold film. So, Jerry, how do you feel about this one?
I love it. First of all, Deathstroke is one of the coolest villains in the game. The guy is a League of Assassins legend. He is a combat veteran. And the reason, here's how I knew that Deathstroke was going to be in the DCU. It was very obvious to me from the get-go. Number one, Damian has a lot of history with Deathstroke. Number two, they are using Damian, and the Bat family has a lot of history with Deathstroke, and you get to incorporate, and this brings me to number 3. So number 1, Damian. Number 2, Bat family. But number 3, I think, is the most important one, and it's the one that no one's talking about, and I've been saying it, and that is the fact that the Batman, the only flaw in that movie was that it lacked action scenes. It didn't have enough action. It didn't have high-flying combat, and that was a major flaw of the movie. And I think to the people who said, oh, it's boring and whatever, short attention spans, not everyone is smart enough to have the patience for a movie like that. I get it. But some strays there, but whatever. Anyway, what I will also say is I know that they wanted to make the new DCU Batman. Obviously, it has to be special in its own right and a big variation from the Batman, was obviously going to be that this is going to have a lot of action. James Gunn is a smart guy. He knows it needs to be spectacle to compete with the MCU. How do you do that? Action. How do you have a Batman movie with Damian Wayne, who, by the way, Damian Wayne is a G in combat in his own right. You put in a villain like Deathstroke because Deathstroke forces their hand. If you have a villain like Deathstroke, you can't tell that story and make that movie without having those high-flying spectacle action scenes. So it was obvious from the jump. He was the perfect choice. He was the obvious choice. He was the only choice. And I can't wait to see this. We've never seen Deathstroke face off in Batman in a live-action movie. Obviously, we know Zack Snyder was going to do it. Hats off to Zack Snyder because it was a good choice on that. Although I'm glad that he didn't get to make that movie, but that's another story. Listen, Deathstroke's incredible. He's a great villain. If you don't know him, I would read up on him. If you're into that. But the other thing you got to think about, the Dark Knight trilogy really shined in its action, and we are, by the time this movie comes out, this is going to be north of 20 years on top of when Batman Begins came out. Dark Knight probably close to 20 years. So the action that we're going to expect to see in this movie, I expect to see be groundbreaking, innovative, and pioneering, meaning they're going to do things that we haven't seen before. They're going to create new styles of action and cinematography and all of that. And this should be a movie that sets standards for other movies to come after it.
Yeah, so I think what a lot of people like about Bill is that I think Bill had the best Bruce Wayne, and I don't think we're going to see a better one, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
I'm not the biggest fan of his Batman, but that's just personally. I just like a little more grit. I like I don't know. I was like a little more savagery, and that's why Pattinson is more my guy. Personally, but
whoa, hold on here, because you're talking about a guy that left his girl to die to save Two-Face. He ends up, being the not the hero they deserve, but the hero they need. He goes, bro. He was so savage in The Dark Knight. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I just like Pattinson's Batman better. Like just like that opening scene of him beating the crap out of those people, which is awesome. But I'm not going to make this a Pattinson versus Bill debate.
Yeah.
Brave and the Bold to give me Casino Royale vibes. And when I say that, like when I watch James Bond Casino Royale, Daniel Craig comes off as like, I'm the new guy on the block. I'm here to stay. Forget what you guys say. This is me. Like, I'm doing it differently and I'm doing it my way. And that's kind of how I feel that this Brave and the Bold film, that's what it's, from the way James Gunn has tweeted about it, from the things he's been saying, that's kind of what it's giving me as like, I think Batman is amazing, but I think that Brave and the Bold is going to be the best version of Batman, or this DCU Batman is going to be the best version of Batman that we're going to see, because it's going to be the most accurate version of Batman that we've ever seen. A lot of directors want to just forget the spectacle side of Batman, just like you've said. And I think that's been an atrocity on Matt Reeves, on Nolan, on all of them, and they had to, I
wouldn't say Nolan. I think Nolan's Batman movies were, like, for Hollywood's sake, perfect.
It doesn't matter, because the same way I think that the Batman 2 is probably a top 3 greatest film of all time. You still got, like, the fact that there's not a lot of action is a weakness. The same way I think Nolan being too realistic with Batman is also a weakness, because you're not encompassing everything about the character. And I think that James Gunn is going to do that with Brave and the Bold, and having a character like the Deathstroke is a perfect way to do it. One of my fears about Brave and the Bold was about just like how Nolan focused on Ra's al Ghul a lot in Batman Begins, which I do love. I mean, Ra's al Ghul, that joint was fire.
And Liam Neeson killed it.
Yes,
that is an underrated casting.
100%. I do think that the focus needs to be on Deathstroke, Talia al Ghul, and if we don't go to the League of Shadows, I'm gonna be very pissed off. I mean, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I'm envisioning Batman, Nightwing, and Damian Wayne kind of going there and just causing wreck. I'm expecting that type of film, and so
By the way,
yeah,
sorry.
man, you're good. And I think that having Deathstroke as the villain, it doesn't just open up the Batman's universe, or sorry, it doesn't just open up. Yeah, it doesn't just open up the Batman's universe, but it opens up the whole entire DCU because Deathstroke is connected to a lot of people, bro. He's he's connected to a lot of
It's a
people.
great point. It's a great point. He's not just a Batman villain.
Yes,
and that is also a big factor. So
exactly,
glad you
bro.
said that. So glad because I
heck
didn't even, yeah.
And that's why I think James Gunn is cooking because he's picking villains that aren't connected to just one bad guy. And so we could see Deathstroke pop up somewhere else. He could be the one that shoots Superman in the chest with freaking kryptonite because he's a hired assassin. Like he could be anywhere. So I'm pretty excited to get that comic book feel of like I can see this character pop up in any film and be okay with it.
So by the way, another great way to get into Deathstroke was Arrow season 1. He is the villain in Arrow season 1.
That's the guy you show. Watch.
Incredible. So I've been waiting to tell you this, and I was going to text you, but I probably perfect to tell you now.
What's up?
Guess who is actually going to be the new Nightwing coming out in a new comic in the Nightwing comic series? It's not Dick Grayson. Take a wild guess.
Is it a previous Robin?
No.
Who? Jonathan Kent?
Bruce Wayne.
That's weird. Why?
No, I thought you'd be excited about it. I don't know. That's what
it's kind of weird.
I haven't read. They've been trying to make Nightwing so much more important in the comics. Like they did this event, Dark Crisis, and they were
he was like the center of it, right?
Yeah. Well, after it, they launched it under their new banner as Dawn of DC. So, when DC has a new era, they kind of put an imprint at the top of all their books. And they were doing that with Dawn of DC after Dark Crisis. And they had announced that like Nightwing is the new top guy. It's not Batman. And, I have to assume they're not satisfied with the results because if they were, I can't imagine they would be making Bruce Wayne.
That's kind of weird.
But I think they're trying to make Nightwing like more popular. And, people love Nightwing comics, though. I will say, like, the people that read them swear by them. I mean, remember Bullet? He was on there and he went off.
Yeah. I love Nightwing, though. Dude, bro, I think, bro, you guys know Robin. Yeah, you guys know Robin's my favorite superhero. So I love Nightwing. But Batman.
I thought Nightwing is your favorite. Not
no,
Robin.
So Robin is my favorite superhero, but Dick Grayson is my favorite Robin.
Got it. And you prefer him as Robin, not as Nightwing.
No, I prefer Dick Grayson as Nightwing and Damian as Robin.
So then Nightwing's your favorite.
No, I think that the era with Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson is just the greatest duo of all time. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Does it mean that he's the best Robin? Because he's not, and Bruce Wayne has said that he's not the best. But I think that their duo together is just perfect. But I like the Bat family with Damian, Dick, and Bruce. Like that dynamic is just hilarious.
Yeah, I will say I am curious to how they are going to portray the DCU Batman because with Damian. Damian's a savage. He's like a teenage savage. He's ruthless. And if you don't know Damian Wayne, like throw out any idea you had of him because I promise you he's going to be much more savage than you
Oh, he's a douche. He's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
Like he has no care in the world at all.
But Bruce still manages to take a fatherly role. When Damian's involved in the stories, they generally, a lot of the time, feel lighter because Bruce Wayne is a lighter character when you have Damian's savageness to deal with. So I don't think Bruce Wayne is going to be the Batman, Robert Pattinson, like, oh, I'm angry all the time. I think he's going to be lighter. You might even see him crack a backhanded compliment at Damian as a joke, things like that.
Yeah, and I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say he's going to be a lot like Ben Affleck's Batman.
I could see that. I don't think Ben Affleck was bad as Batman.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, but when I say that, like, he's not going to be angry, but I do want Batman to be smarter than everyone, and that's I didn't think Ben Affleck played a good job at that, and so yeah, I want Bruce Wayne in the DCU that when he's around the Justice League, he's 10 steps ahead of everybody, because that's kind of how he always is in the comics. Like they look to him for the thoughts and ideas, and he's not like Tony Stark, bro. He's dead serious whenever he talks about stuff.
By the way, I have no doubt in my mind that the Iron Man movie, Tony Stark, was largely inspired, and they were inspired to make that movie from Bruce Wayne in the Dark Knight.
Oh my God, more Dark Knight glazing, dude. Stop.
Bro.
Oh my God. I'm sick of this, yo. But when I see Bill, I'm gonna drop kick him. I'm gonna say, you know what? Jerry's the reason why I kicked you, bro. I'm kidding. I love Bill. I actually just watched what's that movie? American Psycho.
So good.
I watched that for the first time over the holiday.
You know, he might be my all-time favorite actor.
Yeah, he's fire. That movie was insane. Okay. On God, or I thought you said on God. My bad. On God, mighty. Oh my God! Imagine Batman versus Deathstroke and Raven and Bold. Like, I'm expecting the fight scenes to be Captain America, Winter Soldier level. That is my expectation, and that is what we want. That's all we want.
Yeah, but I think they're going to push it further. Like, I generally think. Listen, James Gunn is a smart guy, and he knows he needs to make the DCU brand have a certain reputation. And in order to do that, he has to do things differently and, be innovative. Like, even the Batman, by the way, was very innovative in its cinematography, in coloring, and they're in the detective and the grittiness. Like, and that innovation allows that movie to stand out. There's no other movie that you couldn't say, oh, if you want to watch a detective superhero movie or something like that, you couldn't say the Batman and then say two other movies that are similar to it. And I think that James Gunn is smart enough to see stuff like this, and he's going to push it and innovate it. And I'm going to throw Stray out right now because I can't stand them on X lately, but Snyder fans will never understand that. And Zack Snyder movies don't stand out in that way, and they never will.
Yeah, exactly. The Batman's like a gothic Sherlock Holmes film. Like, that's how I feel. You know what I mean? It's just like a detective at work with some cool fighting, But one thing that I do want from the Batman or from Brave and Bold is I want to hear every single punch, kind of like the Arkham games. I hope that they take a lot of fighting. Hope they take a lot of fighting from the Arkham games where it's fast, it's swift, and you feel every hit. That's just like Captain America. Like that opening scene on the boat, you felt every hit, you felt every bang, every clink. I mean, it was, oh my God.
Did he have a parachute? No, he did not.
Oh, man, top 5 MCU moment right there, brother. Woo! That opening scene is probably the greatest opening scene of all time. I'm gonna be honest, it probably is for a movie.
By the way, It's funny you say that because every time I watch that opening scene, you know what I think of? Metal Gear Solid.
What's that?
It's the game that I told you I'm going to make you play.
Oh, the one you texted me about. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. I'm on, bro. I've been on Fortnite because
it's not out yet. All right, but when it comes out, I'm making you play it 100%.
I'll be on it, brother. I'll be on it with you.
You're gonna love it.
I've been on Fortnite because they're doing like a Mad Max theme. It's all trucks and cars. I've been having the ball.
Oh, that's sick. I've been meaning to play Fortnite, actually.
It's fun, dude. Yeah, Matt's trying to get me to play this stupid game called like X Defiant. I'm like, dude, I'm not. But by the way,
cool. I am hit Matt up. I want to play that.
Go ahead. I am done with first-person shooters. Okay, number one. I'm only doing third person because I'm not buying skins to see the hands. Okay. But maybe we can save this topic for gaming cuts. But
yes, just
to plant that, I am done with third person, first person shooter games.
but let's move on.
All right. Dark Knight trilogy action was absolutely awful. Thank you. It was awful. The camera shots were very off. Batman. Oh yeah, bro. I have a video that I did 4 years ago. We can cue it up right now, bro. The Dark Knight trilogy. You know what? I might just cue it up right now. I might just cue it up. Nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna waste time.
You know I'm gonna cook that shit.
No, you wouldn't. No. This cooks your whole ideology on the Black Knight.
No,
but what you gonna said on the Black Knight?
The action in the Dark Knight is incredible. It's one of a kind. I mean, that scene.
All he did was throw elbows every fight scene. That's all he does is throw elbows.
Bro, the Bat Cycle and the truck. That was a real truck that flipped over.
We're talking about fighting, bro. We are talking about the fighting.
I said action. I said action.
What? He's freaking chasing at their car. Ethan Hunt did the same thing, bro.
Yeah, but
Ethan Hunt has better car chase scenes than the Dark Knight.
It's not a chase scene. It's an action scene, number one. And number two, he tripped a truck and the truck flipped over.
And then he turns, and then the tires slip. Oh, like, come on, bro. I hate that. The action in Dark Knight does suck. And Hungry Almighty, thank you for speaking up, bro. Yo, you see, Jerry slid that by me, and I didn't even pay attention to that. Thank you, Hungry Almighty. I didn't even listen to that. All right. Speaking of Batman, I was thinking if Jensen Ackles doesn't become Batman, my next choice. Who's Oliver Cohen? Let me search that up. Who is this?
Oliver Jackson Cohen. Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Hope it's not.
Definitely has the look. Let's see what he's done.
What project?
His filmography doesn't scream Batman to me, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah, he doesn't look like the Batman to me personally.
He looks like Batman.
I don't know. I don't know.
He definitely does. And if he put on some muscle, he would. I
don't think so. He doesn't look the Batman to me. I don't know why. He's just. I'm not feeling it. Cass Allen Richardson, bro. Call it a day. I think he's
no. Oh hell no! I so disagree with you on that.
You were just on the Island train 3 months ago. What are we talking about here?
I never said I like him as Batman. I said I like him. I don't want him as Batman.
Oh no, you want him to be? Who did you say?
I thought he would be a great Hal Jordan.
Ooh, I can see that too.
Especially after watching like Reacher, like he could be like that funny.
Do you know what I heard?
Jock.
They said that Gunn is going after Glenn Powell for the Flash.
I
read that on X. Not saying it's true, but it was a rumor. That's just
listen. I love Glenn Powell, and after I heard about him being like, I've had it with Hollywood, and like everyone's fake here, and he moved to Texas, I think that's awesome. It just shows you that the guy has his priorities in check and probably cares about like family and his close relationships and I don't know. I'll always root for someone like that. Yeah.
Our Hunger Mind. See what else Hunger Mind said. I'm starting to follow DCEU leaks. Yeah, I follow him too because he's actually got a lot of stuff right. Especially, yep. I've been following him too.
DCEU leaks.
All my friends don't know about Damian, and when I told them about him, they got very excited for Damian. Yeah, bro. Damian Wayne is going to steal the show. Honestly,
I really hope they cast the kid from
Euphoria,
who played Ashtray. What's his name? I know,
if Jensen Ackles is not Batman, do you think he'll make a great? No, I don't think he'll make a great older Hal Jordan.
Bro, Javon Walton. I mean, this kid.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He looks like Damian. Like he's the perfect kid.
Yeah, Hungry. I don't honestly like. For me, Jensen is either Batman or he's nothing. That's kind of how I feel. I think Jensen Ackles will be perfect for Batman. He has the look because to be Batman, you got to be suave. And that guy that you say, he just doesn't come off as suave to me. Jensen Ackles is the guy that can throw it on, look fly, but I can also see him being Batman too. You have to be able to play both.
And he has the charisma.
And he's an experienced actor. And you also have to take this into effect. Check this out. Okay. Let's go to the MCU because the MCU is better than what DC's ever done, and just facts. Okay, Tony Stark was in Spider-Man Homecoming for a reason. It wasn't just because they wanted to pay him and all this stuff. You have to take into effect that older actors have to mentor the young guys. Okay, RDJ mentored Tom Holland throughout that film. It wasn't just he was just there. No, he was there to guide him. Right. I think Jensen Ackles is the perfect guy to take a kid like that and guide him to playing the role that he needs to play. Jensen Ackles is. I mean, and let's talk about Jensen Ackles. He was on one of the greatest, most popular shows of all time. Supernatural is one of the biggest shows ever. Went on 13 seasons. He's done The Boys, or he is doing The Boys. He's done films. I mean, this guy is very successful, and he's voicing Batman. I think that this is the guy that you should put in live action because of the experience alone, and that he can be that glue to kind of like get the actors and stuff to work. So I love some Jensen.
And when names like Oliver Jackson Cohen get into the mix, like, you can't tell me that this guy has more experience than Jensen Ackles. Yeah. Jensen Ackles might do a little more TV, but this guy is not doing like big movies by any means. And, the one thing I will say about the Robert Downey Jr. is Robert Downey Jr. was much more franchise MCU experienced in Homecoming than he was in Iron Man. And I think, you got to give some time for Jensen Ackles. Like, I do think there's going to be a learning curve for all of the actors in the DCU because most of them, or if not all, haven't been in a franchise like this. There's only one other franchise like this on the planet, and we're obviously talking about the MCU. And listen, it's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. Like, they had a learning curve when they built the MCU. That's what pioneering is. When you're the first to do something, you're the one who has to figure it out. And if you're only the second to do it, you still have to figure that out too.
Facts. The reason I brought up Oliver is because I saw a video explaining why he would be great, and it showed scenes of him in other movies, and I was like, oh, I kind of see it. And he's like 37. Yeah, I mean, look, right. I think Oliver could do great if he gets picked, right? Because I mean, look, people probably said the same about Chris Evans, or probably said the same about Chris Evans, right? And RDJ when they first started. I just don't think Oliver looks the part personally, but Hunger Almighty, we are with you though on Jensen Ackles. We are big Jensen Ackles fans around here. So, all right. Now, Blade, let's talk about some Blade. All right. So, we've been covering Blade a lot, and for some reason, we get a lot of every time we talk about Blade, the video does over 1,000. It's super weird. So, no purpose why we're talking about Blade today. You know what I mean? Okay. Marvel Studios is reportedly casting for another main villain for the Blade film. They're looking for a male actor. So the rumor that's also been going around about the male actor is that they are going with Dracula being the main villain for the Blade film. I mean, why wasn't Dracula the villain from the start? I mean, this is a perfect way to get fans to know, like, there's a perfect way to get fans in to know who Blade is because of Dracula. Dracula is one of the biggest characters of all time. And I think that a character like Dracula draws in a certain type of fans. Like, there are a lot of fans that like Dracula and that like that, I don't want to say gothic, but that
Vampire.
that dark vampire tone. And I think that having someone like him draws in a lot of those fans. It just shocks me that this wasn't the idea from the start. How do you feel about them?
I love it.
Maybe
by the way, as we speak, Marvel is doing a crossover event in the comics. It's called Blood Hunt, and it has been so savage that they have actually been releasing the main line Blood Hunt comics in red band form, meaning they come in a plastic seal with a red band around it, and the red band, is like, kind of warning parents, like, this is, like R-rated type stuff in here. And it's been savage. I actually haven't gotten my hands on the red band stuff. So I've been reading just the regular ones. And my buddy Michael from Cultured Pullist, he's always telling me like, oh, well, this photo is different and, it's much more savage. But long story short, in Blood Hunt, they have like Blade and the vampires taking over and infecting everyone, and everyone is getting bit and becoming a vampire, and it's so cool.
That sounds fun.
It's actually awesome, and I normally like at first I was kind of put off by it because I'm like I like Blade, but like once you get too like aggressive with the vampires, I'm like, all right, it's a little much.
Yeah.
But this crossover stems from the new Avengers run, and it's also been written by the same writer, Jed McKay. So I was like, you know what? I love his Avengers run. I like this writer. I'm going to give it a shot, and I've been blown away. It's amazing. I think they should do more of this stuff. Now I'm like down with the vampires. I bought vampire teeth. No, I'm kidding.
I hope not, brother.
Yeah, you know how I feel about cosplay. Yeah, and I don't do anything that's sus. And but yeah, I think it's cool. And like, listen, for some reason, there will always be kids in high school that when they go to the mall, their favorite place to shop is Spencer's Gifts, and they're always into
Hot Topic, those
and
types
goth stuff and Hot Topic, and so that kind of stuff will always have a place in pop culture. And Blade is one of those characters that he does kind of have a cult following, but that cult following is not like sufficient enough to cross the kind of threshold they want in terms of selling tickets. And a way to do that is, they could use someone like Dracula. I would also love to see someone like Null. Like, I think that would be super cool. The symbiote god.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a vampire too. So
what if he got Null's sword?
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Like, that would be so sick. And I'm pumped for this movie. It sounds like Mahershala Ali is either someone who cares a lot about his movies, or he's just a pain in the neck. It's one of the two,
Because it seems like he's putting in work on this film. I mean, it does, and that's why I need to see him talk about it, because I'm getting a lot of respect for him watching this. Because if you guys don't know, they were originally going to do like where Blade was going to be the background character, and it was going to be about either his daughter or these female vampire witches. And Mahershala Ali was like, "Oh hell no!" Like, he said, "No way, Jose." And so, shout out to Mahershala, bro, for standing on business. But yeah, man. Have you seen the movie Dracula: The Story Untold?
No.
With Luke Evans. I think it's on HBO Max. You should watch it. Really good movie. I think it's on Max. I think so. It's either on Max or Netflix. I forget which one. But really, really, really great movie. Like, Luke Evans kills it.
I feel like I've heard of it.
That's honestly probably the best Dracula film of all time.
I've never seen any Dracula movies.
You should watch it. I think you'll love it. There's so much action.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. It does look pretty cool.
It's awesome. All right. So yeah, we just want to see a trailer, man, or a costume release or something of Blade. All right.
No.
Now, this is another topic for you, honestly, because I know you, when it comes to your Norman Osborn, you get very passionate. So Tom Holland, and this comes from Alex from the Cosmic Circus. Shout out to them. Tom Holland will reportedly face off against Doc Ock and Green Goblin again in the MCU. It's not yet known if the original actors will return. Now, I wasn't going to put this on the docket because it's like a Captain Obvious, like, duh, you know what I mean? Duh, Ninja. Like, we knew you, like, we knew that, right? But then I started reading the comments, and a lot of people were like, we just got them. Like, we just saw them like 2 years ago. Why would you bring Norman Osborn to the MCU? He doesn't need to be there. Just bring Eddie Brock. We don't need Doc Ock. So, Jerry, can you please educate the fans on why we need Doc Ock and Green Goblin, aka Norman Osborn, in the MCU?
A lot of these fans are also arguing that Matt Gargan, Scorpion, should be the villain in the next Spider-Man movie. So keep that in mind. Take everything they say with a grain of salt. They don't read comics, because if they did, they wouldn't be fans of Scorpion.
Scorpion sucks, dude.
Yeah. So we never saw a 616 universe Green Goblin or Doc Ock. These were villains from other universes. So it makes, number one, so for the new Spider-Man arc, I hope that they dive into the science aspect of it. Like one of the cornerstones of the Marvel universe is that a lot of the characters are very involved in science in their lives. I mean, you could think of Spider-Man, you could think of Peter Parker, Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Doctor Doom, Kang, Professor X, Beast. The list goes on, right? But Spider-Man is one of the big ones when it comes to science, and so much so that a lot of his villains are also involved in science, and especially both Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Green Goblin is a very successful entrepreneur and heads his own company, Oscorp Industries. And then there is, Doc Ock, who, does his own experiments. He's not successful in the way Green Goblin is, but he is a scientist and he is always trying to, innovate some new technology of some sort. Now, Doc Ock, they say, is the smartest scientist of all of them in the Spider-Man universe. So it makes sense that we would want to see how these are the two biggest Spider-Man villains. I mean, maybe you could put Venom in there and, rotate the order a bit, but they're the biggest two, maybe three, depending on how you rank it. So it makes sense that we would want to see, how they interact with our MCU universe, especially through the realm of Spider-Man. The other thing with Norman Osborn that's important is if they're going to do this Thunderbolts movie, which I don't think Norman Osborn is in it, or at least he's not announced to be on the Thunderbolts roster in it, but he should be. And, the entrepreneur angle of Oscorp and how that can interact with the MC Marvel universe is such an under talked about thing. Like nobody talks about it, but in the comics, like there's a famous storyline where Norman Osborn takes over through ownership and like legal means takes through over Stark Industries, and then he starts using the, Iron Man suit and like fighting Iron Man. And it's incredible, so it's very short-sighted to say, oh, well, we saw them in No Way Home because they came in through other universes. So like we didn't really get a full story out of either of these villains. So it's not like we're overusing them. We never got to see them, in their own right and live their own lives and how that would look in the Marvel universe in a Spider-Man movie. And if you're going to also, if you were to say, we're not going to use these two villains, like the only other villain, you only have a couple other top Marvel villains to choose from. And I'm not saying that there aren't some good choices there, but to throw Doc Ock and Green Goblin out over them, showing up through a portal in No Way Home is silly, short-sighted. And again, these are when you think about it, it makes sense that these are the people that would say Scorpion is a good choice for a villain because they obviously don't know how to think very well.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question because I know you're going to say the right answer. A lot of people are saying that they don't understand why the Joker is in the Batman when we're probably getting the Joker in Brave and the Bold. Why is the Joker in every? Why is the Joker going to be in every live iteration of Batman that we will see forever? Why?
So the Joker is like almost like helps. I'm trying to word this right. Joker is like a piece of the puzzle in Batman coming to terms with his identity.
Yes.
The Joker is for Batman the Joker is a challenge on Batman's core values, beliefs, and principles. The Joker is the one who makes him question if he should ever kill and why should he not ever kill. The Joker is the one that makes him remember why he's doing what he's doing and the evil that's out there in the world, and really come to terms with who he is, what he set out to do, why he set out to do it, and how he should do it. And he's one of the biggest pieces. I would say that the Joker is right under Bruce Wayne's parents being killed in terms of Bruce Wayne finding out his Batman identity.
Yep. And that is why Doc Ock and Green Goblin had to be in the MCU. The same way the Joker completes Batman, Doc Ock and Norman Osborn complete Peter. There's no other way to say it.
And on that note, Doc Ock and Green Goblin are also such powerful villains in the Spider-Man universe because they make Peter Parker learn so much about his power and responsibility with himself, because they are both people that are close to him in his
father
life
figures in his life.
Peter. Yeah. And that's what makes it so impactful. So to say no to Doc Ock and no to Green Goblin, it's crazy. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't make a movie with Venom, which is obviously coming at some point, or Craven, who I love, but Doc Ock and Green Goblin got to be the priority.
Yep. All right. Jerry said everything that needs to be said. I'm not going to say anymore. I go everything he said right there. Okay.
Nice.
Vision series. The writer's room for Disney Plus Vision series opened last week. Terry Matalas will serve as the showrunner. Okay, so you guys already know where we stand. A lot of us, Jerry and I, don't really care about the show, to be honest. Not saying that we don't like Vision, because we do.
I thought you do.
Huh?
I don't think you care about the Vision, but they are saying that this show is the sequel to WandaVision.
They said that.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think
that
I
does
saw
change
like
a lot of
random...
truth. That does change a lot of truth. But all in all, but either way, I don't think Vision should be getting his own show. Regardless, this is another situation of why isn't this just WandaVision season 2? But we're not going to go down that road. So instead of cowering in our annoyance of this show, where do you? And I'll go first, but just meditate on this question while I answer this. Where do you think Vision needs to be at the end of this show? This is what I think. I would love Vision to be in Armor Wars. I would love Vision to be paired up with another character following this show that's not Wanda Maximoff. I would love for Vision to be repositioned in the Avengers. I would love if this show ended with Sam Wilson recruiting Vision back to the Avengers team, and he goes back to being the C-list character that he is. That's where I want to see him. I would love to see Sam Wilson come flying in and say, "Hey, bro, it's time to come home." And then the next time we see him is in the Avengers. That's the only place I see him coming back. And with Armor Wars, it's the same ending. Like, put him in Armor Wars, but in the end, Sam comes and says, "Yo, Rhodey, Vision, it's time to come home." How do you feel about where do you expect him to be? At the end of this show?
I really don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about it. Like it's one of those shows that I'll watch just because it's Marvel, and I thought Vision was cool in Age of Ultron, but that kind of phased real quick. And yeah, I don't think that they need him. I don't think they need to get rid of him. I think they can either keep him around or get rid of him, and I would be totally fine either way.
So you're siding with me where you just want him on the Avengers roster for power purposes?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I do think that he adds some value. He can add some value in action scenes, and he also could add value like when the Avengers are all together, which oddly sometimes gets kind of rare. Like Infinity War, they're kind of divided up throughout the whole movie. But, in like Civil War, there were a couple of scenes that he was like the glue between all of them, where he kept things level and he helped calm things out, and he kept, tried to talk Wanda out of leaving. And I think he could add some value to scenes in, dialogue scenes with the Avengers. And I think that, if they're going to keep him around, that's what they should capitalize on.
Yeah, I'm sick of simp Vision. That's what I'm sick of. Make this man a savage again. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Make me care about him again.
Exactly. So I think that, and I think that it's a perfect situation where at the end of this show, we see Sam come flying in with that Captain America theme music. Time to come on home. Movie ends. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. That was fire.
And I expect to see that with a lot of these people getting projects. As I said, and the Armor Wars, Sam Wilson goes flying in. Yo, time to come home. I think you'll be happy with that too, to see War Machine and Vision back on the roster. I think that's pretty exciting for a lot of fans, man.
Well, I really, really want to see more War Machine. I want to see Armor Wars, and I hope that they do. Like, I hope Armor Wars has a lot to do with Stark Enterprises and the military and technology and innovation. I think that could be really cool. I think they should push that kind of stuff more in Marvel. Obviously, we were just talking about the science and everything, but I also think that, like, there are other fans out there that are like me that, pay attention to, the American commerce. We're interested in financial markets. We're interested to see, technology and companies and, how they're innovating and what they do about their product. Like, I would like to see that side of it. And I think that, there is a lot of demand for television like that right now. Succession was very popular. I'm blanking on another show I just watched that was, just like that. But, I do think that there is demand for, television like that right now. And I think Marvel could capitalize on it. And not only could they capitalize on it, but it might help them kind of finesse their own formula to the MCU series, because they never really have nailed that. And what's interesting about the MCU TV series format is that they don't even call them television shows. They actually call them like a 6-part streaming event,
So stupid.
And it's so stupid. Like,
I can't stand these names.
Yeah, but maybe if they made a show that, like, people are used to watching, and they kind of, involved business and drama, and made it more like that, I think that they could find it. It would have an easier time finding a natural flow to it. Because I think the flow of it and the pacing is what really impacts those series. And I'm not saying they're not good, but they don't feel like other TV shows.
Yeah, Armor Wars needs to leave Shuri out of it because they have to sell us on Riri. Period.
That's a very good point. It's a very good point.
Sell me on Riri. Sell me on it.
And MCU needs to learn to not when to share the spotlight and when not to.
1000%. Vision. This is from ABJ. What's up, ABJ? Vision isn't strong enough.
OBJ. Oh no, it is Ace.
Vision isn't strong enough. Vision isn't a strong enough character to be the lead. Depends. Is Vision going to be the only character? Could Agatha and Covenant of Chaos be the tie into that? Are we going to get Wiccan and Speed back in? Are they going to find Wanda? I think that's. I mean, we got to take this into consideration, guys. The show is called Vision Quest. So what is the quest? Is the quest to find Wanda? Is the quest to get his kids back? Those are questions that need to be taken into consideration. There's no way in Hello Kitty that Vision's going to be the only main character. I expect Wiccan, Speed, and Wanda to come back in this show. That's what I'm expecting. So we shall see what happens. All right. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite man, Mr. Giancarlo Esposito. He ended up speaking about his secret MCU role. He said this: the MCU has knocked on my door, and it's a role you won't predict. It will be teased, and there will be a series afterwards. So we never heard about the part of a series being afterwards. And he actually ended up saying this at I think it was at an event where he said this. So before I go into my talk, you and I are both on the same page that we think he's Kang, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how could you see Kang being worked into Disney Plus?
So first of all, love it. The more Kang, the better. I think that there could be some kind of backstory to how he got to where he is, and like when
Like
we
an
saw,
origin.
yeah, like a little bit of an origin, yeah, exactly. And we don't really know that much about him. Like, yeah, we saw him in Ant-Man, and we know that the variant that we saw was worried about the other Kangs and what they're coming to do, and but I think that this series could explain his origin and how he got to the position that he's currently in with where we're at with the MCU, and what his intentions are.
Yeah, I agree. So
I was going to say, and listen, I also think that the big kicker here for the series is, I think Marvel thinks that they didn't stick the landing with Ant-Man 3, Quantumania, and if they do a series about Kang with Giancarlo, it allows them a major opportunity to establish Kang as a fan favorite, and that's what they need, and that's what they should be worried about doing with the series.
yeah, I would rather be a 40-minute special than a series or like a 1 hour special, kind of like how they did the Werewolf by Nights. I would like a film versus a show, a series, personally.
Right.
So hopefully they do that, and maybe we're gonna see Giancarlo popping up in a couple of shows, which I think is exciting. So we shall see what's gonna happen, but I am really hyped to hear that he's doing work, and that he's getting
Yeah.
prepared, and I just see him now, man, with the menacing music, him put on the mask, him screaming. He just, oh my gosh, he's gonna be, man, he's gonna be amazing. No matter what role he's in, he's gonna be great. So
Yeah,
hopefully
he's
they don't
phenomenal.
do him like Bill. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, seriously.
Imagine if Christian Bale was Kang the Conqueror.
He would actually kill it. Like Christian Bale is just, I mean, the range the guy has. Like in Vice, when he plays Dick Cheney, he's incredible.
Yeah.
And when he played Michael Burry in The Big Short, like he just always kills it. But yeah, Giancarlo is a phenomenal actor. I think he'd make an amazing Kang. And the reason that I think he's Kang is because he said something to the effect of, and there's going to be an announcement about what I'm doing with Marvel very soon. And I think that the Kang announcement is coming very soon because I think they want to get it out before the leaks. I think they're trying to be smart about it, considering the damage that was done with the Jonathan Majors drama. So,
Aren't you happy that's over, bro?
I am happy that's over, but I
feel like we were stressing out about that for a while.
Yeah.
You and I,
'cause
we spent months talking, dude. We were really stressed out about that, bro, during that scene.
Yeah.
Man. Wow.
But I'm still salty about how it went down and
Same here.
how Jonathan Majors allowed that to happen. Like, or did what he did, whatever.
Yeah. He's getting work again, right?
I think I saw that. Yeah.
He had an interview where he was like, yeah, like he like basically he was like, yeah, like this happened, but like I still got mad projects. So like,
right. Crazy.
He's crazy, yeah. But anyways, all right. What did the Black Sand say? I would rather have Sam Wilson, Captain America, and the Avengers hunt down a Rogue Vision and bring him in, dead or alive. And the DCU fan posts say they want Deathstroke versus Batman now, fanboy. What?
I think he's trying to make a diss, but I don't know what the diss is.
Hey, we're happy about that. I'm so confused. Okay, anyways. Okay. Oh, this I want to talk about this really quick. I think this I'd be happy. The same writer for the Penguin show is working on the Green Lantern show.
This is great. I think that the Penguin show looks incredible. By the way, I think they put out. I saw a teaser today that looked like a new teaser, and it looked incredible. That show is going to be awesome, and I am starting to think that the Green Lantern show is going to be dark, which is interesting. It's going to be an interesting take on Green Lantern.
Sorry, bro. My cat's like terrorizing my office in here, man.
Oh
She's trying to
man, I
wake
was
me up.
wondering what's going on.
Yeah, bro. She's on demon time right now. Okay. Anyway, sorry. My wife is
Yeah,
calling me.
so I was just saying, I think it's going to be a dark take on Green Lantern because they're doing it as inspired by True Detective. They're having the writer from the Penguin. I mean, everything we know about this show so far is indicating like this is going to be pretty dark, and I think that'll be a cool take on Green Lantern.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, man. Skip the origin. We already know the origin, so I'm
Right.
pretty hyped about that. I think that I think it's gonna be dark, but I also want to get a really big character deep dive on Hal Jordan.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's important too.
what makes him tick? What are his motivations? The Green Lantern movie never really focused on that. They're like what with Ryan Reynolds. Even though I think Ryan Reynolds acted great with what he was given, but they really made him like a romance boy, and he's more than that. He's more than a lover. He is now Green Lantern is a hoe, and that's fact. We all know Green Lantern gets all the chicks, bro. Remember when remember in the comics when he had dated that underage chick, but she wasn't really underage. She looked like she was like 15, but she was
Yeah,
like older,
oh,
bro.
that's such a poor choice.
Anyways, what a wild
Yeah,
comic book, bro. But yeah, but like I think that Green
it's like
Lantern,
crazy that was ever accepted.
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, whoever did that was twisted. But I think that I think that a lot of fans are gonna fall in love with Hal Jordan, bro, because of how Jordan is one of the most selfless heroes in history, and the Green Lantern movie did not touch on that at all. The animated shows don't really touch on that, and so that's what I'm pretty excited about. Did you watch the movie Justice League Frontier animated film?
I don't think so.
So Justice League Frontier is basically this movie where they brand Superman that Superman is going to save the world, blah blah blah. Superman goes against this alien, gets completely yeeted, like yeeted into the ocean, and it's like a Justice League film kind of sort of where like now Diana comes out the blue, Batman's come out the blue, but the whole movie is centered around Green Lantern's origin story. And I think that Justice League Frontier, if you haven't watched that, you should watch it. It's probably on Max. It is one of the
Okay.
greatest. It is one of the greatest characterizations of Hal Jordan ever shown on screen. I think that's something that you all should watch. And because there's a lot of Hal Jordan without the ring, and it really just shows you how selfless of a man he is. And yes, there are times where he jokes around and he's a cocky douche, but that's not Hal Jordan 24/7. He's not that.
So
He's not that guy.
the thing about Hal Jordan that's interesting is like on the surface, he is the lighthearted jock that gets the girls and seems to have an easy time doing anything he tries and just an easy life. But he is much more introspective of that. He is a man that is always evaluating his values, his principles, priorities in life. And, he is a guy that is also full of heart. So the things that work with a character like that is number one, it's entertaining, like a jock that gets the girls, that's lighthearted and funny, and who can fly and is a fighter pilot. Like that makes for great entertainment. But you could also do those character deep dives and a deep analysis on him because he is super introspective. And you could tell, like, you could make a Top Gun like movie with a guy like him, but you could also do a deep character analysis on him, like in the Batman. And, that's why he's like in a league of his own. There's no other character to Green Lantern. Like Marvel doesn't have a version like him. He is, I know some people try to say he's like Iron Man, which is kind of funny because like Iron Man's, my top favorite in Marvel, and
It's funny you say that, bro.
Favorite in DC, but they're very different.
I feel like in the animated, they try to make him like Star-Lord.
A little more in the personality sense for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as in, like his character, like not powers, all that stuff is different. But I think that they try to make his personality like that Peter Quill Star Lord thing, and like in Justice League
But
War,
you're
like
talking
it's
about MCU Peter Quill because MCU Peter Quill is very different from
yeah,
comic Peter Quill.
MCU
Yeah,
Quill, like in the like, bro. If you watch, if you watch the animated movie Justice League War, by the way, it's on Max. If
I'm
you
pretty
watch,
sure I have. I have.
you probably have when they fought against
Yeah,
Darkseid,
yeah.
and it was Aquaman's origin story.
I don't know if I did. I gotta check because I thought I've watched all those, but now apparently there's some I haven't, so I gotta revisit.
But if you watch Justice League War, they brand Green Lantern to be like Star Lord, you know, like MCU cool, and like it's cool for a moment, but like the Flash is supposed to be like the idiot, not Green Lantern. You know, it gets annoying because even like Batman takes off his ring in 2 seconds, and it's like he becomes like this. It's annoying. It gets annoying after the first like the first battle, because like basically, bro, Superman's fighting, and Green Lantern's like, oh, I'm gonna kick this dude's A, and like, okay, makes sense. And
All
Superman
right,
just beats the living hell out of him, bro.
out of how?
Yeah, bro.
Oh man, yeah,
Like,
bro.
bro,
Well,
no, how Jordan gets cooked bad, bro. You know?
yeah. Well, he's powerful, but like Superman is Superman, you know.
Yeah, bro. But no, but it's funny because Superman's there and Green Lantern's like, yo, Bats, don't worry. Like, I'm gonna kill him. You know what I mean? And then and
Yeah.
Superman just like, oh,
Right,
Superman's like, oh, let's play ball.
right.
And Green Lantern just gets his butt
Yeah.
whipped, bro.
It's
Oh
one of
my
those moments
god.
like, Green Lantern probably thought, yeah, I got courage, I got this. No,
But he
you're
does that throughout the
stupid.
whole movie because he does that with Darkseid and gets cooked. He's like, don't worry, guys, I got this. Flies in, gets freaking murked. I'm like, bro. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that movie's so funny. It's bro, you gotta watch it. It's hilarious, bro.
Oh man, I
But
gotta check
anyways,
that out.
and then him and the Flash just talking off each other. Oh my god.
Yeah, him and the Flash
Oh.
is a great. They have a great relationship that is definitely iconic, and they gotta touch on that, which I'm sure they will. They haven't announced anything with the Flash yet, but which, by the way, I think I saw something. Did I send it to you? But James Gunn was talking about some Teen Titans thing. There was some update on Teen Titans. I'm like, I didn't even realize they were doing Teen Titans. I don't think they said that.
James Gunn's going crazy right now, dude. He's doing something that the people want. There's some chats. I'm a Green Lantern books fan, but haven't seen any animated Green Lantern. I'm like, bro, watch ABJ, watch Justice League Frontier. I think you like it. The only thing I'm very worried about the Green Lantern show is that because it's a show, they might lower the budget. That's why I wish he got a movie instead because he deserves it. But the movie would fail because everybody would just compare it to what the old one was. So I think that a show is the perfect way to put people on. Also, let's not mention, bro, Max is a household name when it comes to streaming and shows. So I think that this is going to be a very successful. I mean,
I wanted a movie too, but I think the show is going to be good. I mean, it's obviously inspired by True Detective. They obviously have good writers on it. As much as I kind of thought that too, and I was like, really, not a movie. I'm excited for the show, and I think it is going to. I think it's going to be good. Everything that I'm hearing sounds like they are doing this right. They believe in it,
yep.
And I think that the stars are aligned on this one.
Yep. And Hungry, think about this. Instead of 1 hour 30 or 2 hours, we get 6 hours of content darn near. So I would take that over 2 hours. And also, when it comes to lowering budgets, you can do a lot in today's technology. Just saying, these shows operate on low and look phenomenal. The only show that's really doing big bucks right now is Game of Thrones. House of Dragon, and also I'm talking to Jerry about this, that their budget was darn near over 100 million an episode. So
crazy,
and they do the numbers. So I mean, I can't hate. I mean, I love House of Dragon, but like, just think about that. Anyways, next thing. If the rumor of Hal being in his 40s and John being in his 30s isn't true, how about James Marsden as Hal Jordan instead of Glenn Powell? I don't want Glenn Powell as a Hal Jordan.
Yeah. Listen, I like Glenn Powell, but I think they can find someone younger.
Yeah. So Hungry, I agree with you.
The thing is, with all these fan casts, and I was thinking about this the other day, don't know of many actors in their 20s, because actors in their 20s don't get successful enough as frequent to become widely known in the way Glenn Powell has, even though he's at like the early stages of his obviously major career. So I think that there are a lot of actors out there that are of age of what James Gunn's looking for, like, between 20, 27, maybe 30. And we just don't know who they are. There's a ton of talent out there, and we don't know who they are because we're not casting directors. So, listen, I think Glenn Powell would be a phenomenal Hal Jordan. And, like, if they announce tomorrow he is going to be Hal Jordan, I would be super stoked on it. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to cast him. I think they probably think he's a little too old, and they want to get someone younger. And that's what James Gunn, the casting director, it's part of their job. I believe in them, and I think they'll find someone that they'll cast and who will do a great job. And I think they'll do that for Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner, and the entire rest of the DCU. So, like, I wouldn't get too hung up on the castings and age.
Exactly. Like, who cares about the 40s and 30s? Just make sure we have Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. Like I want to just know that Jon Stewart's there. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel. Like having those two kind of jump on and off of Justice League teams is going to be, oh my god, it's going to be fun. Fun. And man, I can't wait to see Hawk Girl. Man. They better do her right. All right. That's a JL origin story. Hal was underpowered. Yes, he is underpowered in Justice League War. That's why it's funny that he tries. Like, you can tell Hal just got the ring and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can beat everybody." that's kind of how Jordan's thought process in that movie. And made too dumb. Yes, I agree. Okay, now let's get this last topic. So this comes from MCM Culture. This guy kind of annoys me. Not gonna lie. Puts out good content, but I don't know why. Something about him just makes me so mad.
Who?
MCM Culture on Instagram. Like, he seems like his content I like, but him as a person, it just doesn't gel well with me. And look, we're probably gonna meet him and have him on the show, and we're gonna be laughing about this maybe like a year from now. But I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. But anyways, but he does drop some great news. So shout out to MCM. I'm always gonna give props to when it's there. But we do it way better. Anyways, so let's read what MCM said. Fantastic Four's last draft had them in the 60s in another universe where they are only heroes and huge stars. They have to save their world from Galactus and his heralds, but they lose and the TVA save them and take them to the new universe.
I saw this and wait, who did have the TVA save them? Like, I don't know if I like the idea of the TVA saving them, because to successfully establish the Fantastic Four in the MCU, part of that is making sure that they are like powerful and competent. And if they need to be saved by the TVA, like, that write a story that makes the Fantastic Four stronger. Sorry, but no.
We have Nathan Richards. Why do we need the TVA?
Yeah, that too.
Like, he could be the one that can take them out and then take them to wherever they need to go. This kid was making universes under a blanket, bro. Right. Like, come on, this, So yeah, I hope that. I mean, I like the idea of them losing. I really do. And with the other castings of the other heroes and villains, it does seem like they're going that route of like, there's a bunch of villains on this world, and we're the only people that can stop them. I like all that. But I would like the idea of Nathan getting them out of there, and then the TVA pop of like, yo, you're on this earth, we got to get you out of here, and then they go to TVA. Yeah. Like, something like that's cool, but I don't want them to save them. But the TVA should be involved because they're going to be involved in Deadpool, which means they're going to be involved in other projects. So I like the idea of the TVA being the glue. And here's a scene that I would love. I would love this scene right here. I would love Reed Richards and Loki to have a conversation.
Ooh, that would be fire. Also, like, maybe what's the place where Loki is right now called?
Yggdrasil.
Yeah. So maybe Yggdrasil. You know, I think that could be a cool conversation because Reed Richards, is also in like a locked out zone a lot called the negative zone. And, they could probably share some insight to each other about their experiences in the negative zone and Yggdrasil. Did I say it right?
Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
So,
if
yeah.
what if Loki sought after him? Because like the thing about the TVA, bro, that makes me tick is that someone like Reed Richards is who you seek after. It's not someone that you accidentally run into, And so I can see something to where the TVA is like, okay, Kang is everywhere. We need to find a mind that is the same and if greater than his. You go for Reed. And so that's kind of where I see it. And I think that you have someone like Loki seeking after Reed. I think they have a conversation that's something that we are going to want to see. To where
Yeah.
Loki's like, yo, here's what's going on. And I don't know what to do. I can only keep holding this multiverse together for so long, but it's up to you to figure this out.
Right. Yeah, listen, I think that it makes sense to have the Fantastic Four not in the same universe. Like you can't bring in teams like the Fantastic
It's too
Four,
late.
X-Men, and then say like, oh, they weren't here for the blip and like everything else that happened that affected the entire world. Eternals, had their own way of dealing with it, but that only works so many times. So I think with the Fantastic Four, the all-for-all thing makes sense. How they get brought over, like, I think that is one of the primary missions of the movie. And you could even, say like, give their mission some kind of incentive or reason that they need to get to 616 or whatever the hell number it is, So,
Oh my
I
god.
think that's part of it.
What if Kang takes Nathan, bro?
So you have to understand that Marvel has never actually confirmed that Kang is Reed's son. A lot of people make this mistake, and it's complicated because
Isn't he
Marvel.
a descendant though? Oh no,
So
it isn't confirmed. It's a rumor, right? Like in the
it's
comic books.
it's a rumor because they have the same last name. I think. So there is some story where
Wait,
Kang is related to Reed's. I'm looking it up now because I forget.
Wait, hold on. Wait, Reed's son is Franklin, right? Is it Franklin or Nathan?
Reed's son is Franklin.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I take it
Nathaniel
back.
Richards is Kang.
I'm sorry. I'm saying it wrong. What if Kang takes Franklin, bro?
So,
and that's why
that would be cool, and that makes sense because like Franklin is super powerful and has all these abilities. Like that makes
and
sense.
it links to Doom because what if like him and Doom are talking and Doom's like, yo, this kid is like the most powerful being ever. We need his power. And what if it's something like that to where Kang just jumps in, hey, takes him, and then and now Reed has motivation to talk to Loki, et cetera, and to figure out what's going on.
Right. And now that you say that, like I hope that, like we were talking before about that one scene in the Guardians of the Galaxy where they're introduced to the Infinity Stones for the first time, and it's like all of 2 minutes, and it comes and it goes right before your eyes. I think that in the Fantastic Four, I hope that this is a shared universe heavy movie. What do I mean by that? I mean, there's a lot of connections to the greater universe. Rely on the other characters. Bring some of them in. Bring in places and ideas from different movies and make it feel connected to the universe. They should lean on everything that they've built in the MCU that's super successful, because I know everyone thinks that this movie is going to be a certified banger, guaranteed. But I have news for you. It's not guaranteed. Fantastic Four historically has been the trickiest IP character in their arsenal. They've never made a Fantastic Four movie that has been critically and well received and been well received by fans. So they need to be really smart about this kind of stuff. And a lot of people say like, oh, well, the DCU Batman could be like the shared universe version. Like, make the Fantastic Four the shared universe team, and I'm not saying that the Avengers isn't, but I'm saying that they can make the Fantastic Four reliant and, with on other things from the universe, like the TVA, like Loki, like Kang. And the more they involve that kind of stuff in the movie like this, I think the better. And they're going to have to, because it has to be a multiversal movie, because we know it's going to start on an Earth that is not our 616 universe, and they're going to have to get to another universe. 2 universes means it's not one universe, it means it's multiverse.
Yep. And I like this idea of Kang stealing Franklin. It makes sense. It does make sense.
It does make sense.
So I'm actually that I should just type it down. I'm about to make a freaking theory video on that, and of how that could tie together. That sounds pretty exciting.
Birdman hands.
Yeah, cooking. Yeah, dude, that sounds pretty exciting. But yeah, man, you guys know I'm sold on Pedro Pascal. I can't wait till we get to see more screen, so then Jerry can be happy with me finally. And also, I want to talk about one more thing, and I don't want to go into the Silver Surfer thing because I just don't feel like getting really upset right now. But is Galactus having, and this is just me, I asked the question because in all the comics, I've never really seen this. So please answer this for me, bro. By the way, guys, if you don't know, I'm just getting back into comics. I've been reading one comic a day, taking Jerry's advice. Right now I think I'm on Devil's Reign, because I keep jumping back and forth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how I do too. I have a couple different runs I'm reading at a time.
Yeah, so I've been going through. I'm going through Devil's Reign, and then I'm reading some Batman stuff. I'm reading. No, I'm reading that Detective Comics run you sent me last week. I think you said like or no, you sent me some Detective Comics thing. So now I've been reading just the Detective Comics in general. Just.
Oh, you're probably reading Tynion's run, or
yes, that guy. Yes.
Oh yeah, I said it's bad feeling.
Yes.
Oh man,
yeah,
that run is so good. It is so good. Yeah.
Yep. And then I'm also reading that new Spider-Man that dropped.
From the beginning?
No, but the one that the newest run that just dropped.
Ultimate.
Yes, I'm reading Ultimate.
Oh, okay. New one drops tomorrow.
Perfect situation. Yeah. Okay, cool. But anyways, but I was saying, so does Galactus have multiple heroes at the same time? Is that accurate?
I've never seen it, but I don't know.
Yeah, because this language says heralds. Oh. And I saw a picture of 2 Silver Surfers on the surfboard, and all this stuff. So yes. I don't know how true this is. Like, you know what I mean?
So yes, Galactus has had multiple heralds at one time in universe. Of course, in Annihilation. I'm
about to read that tonight.
Annihilation. Oh, dude, Annihilation is like dope. I actually think I'm gonna reread it because I haven't read it since like years ago. But which probably why I don't remember. But so yes, Galactus had multiple heralds at a time. One notable instance is it during the Annihilation storyline, and in this storyline, Galactus had 2 heralds simultaneously: the Silver Surfer and Stardust. Additionally, there have been other occasions where Galactus has had multiple heralds, either temporary or for specific reasons. The concept of multiple heralds allows for interesting dynamics and storylines within the Marvel universe. By the way, look on the Marvel Unlimited app when you read the crossover event. Like, go to search, and it'll come up with a reading guide for Annihilation, and it'll take you through one by one the whole crossover. Because what happens is when you say you're in you're reading Annihilation, there's going to be some comics that are like Drax comics and some comics that are Silver Surfer. And if you just go through the Silver Surfer, it'll take you through Silver Surfer 1 and Silver Surfer 2. But if you go through the guide, you'll see which ones to read, so you don't
Yeah. Yo,
Read.
what was that? What was that guy thing you talked about where it was like Franklin was talking to Galactus or something?
Oh, so
What was it called?
that
I was trying to
is
find that.
it's called the history of the Marvel Universe.
Okay, and that's on Marvel
I'm gonna double
Unlimited
check.
too.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm gonna double check the name, but I'm pretty sure that's it. No, history of the Marvel Universe. So it's just history of the Marvel Universe.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that tonight. Okay, cool. Sounds good. By the way, ABJ, I like this guy, man. ABJ, you know your stuff, man. Nathan wouldn't work in live action because only comic book fans know who he is. I think that's why he would work, bro. I think a lot of I'm sorry. By the way, I meant to say Franklin, not Nathan, bro. I'm so sorry. I meant to say Franklin. Yeah, so
Which is same, by the way, because comic fans are the only ones who are going to know Franklin's. But I disagree because I agree that only comic fans will know him. But I think that's like part of the fun is learning more about the characters and the universe.
Yeah, Franklin's gonna be a fan. Franklin's gonna be like Damian Wayne. He's really gonna be a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, Loki bringing in Fantastic Four is dude, it makes 10 times more sense.
Stevie's cooking.
It makes 10 times more sense. And imagine Loki and Reed having this multiverse conversation, bro. Earth 423-436 is consumed by Galactus, and F4 moves to 616 is possible. Tinian the detective. Oh, bro, and this guy reads comics, Jerry.
Hell yeah, bro. That Tinian detective comics run is fire, and it is.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Essential. If you're into Bat Family, that is like the quintessential Bat Family.
That's the reason why. That's the reason why I'm reading it because I saw the cover. I saw the cover with the Bat Family. I was like, well, count me in. I got the hiccups. Okay, my God. Okay.
Oh man.
All right, y'all. So we are going to end the show here tonight. We are so happy. We hope you guys enjoyed your holiday. But you know, we are getting closer to Deadpool, man. So we are about to be in Deadpool mode next month or in 2 months. So just expect this. Oh my God! Expect the content to keep going. And The Boys is also dropping next month. So, you know, we are going to be covering that as well. We are still deciding whether we're going to do it on here or fantasy/action cuts. But we will be covering that show as well. I'll also be covering Game of Thrones as well. And so yeah, we are everywhere, man. You just gotta go and watch us. I am planning a really big release for Action Cuts because we have some videos already docked up. Like me and Jerry did some stuff on John Wick. So just to give you guys an insider, my plan with Action Cuts is to release a bunch of I want to do 5 videos every day, and then we'll go to maybe like the once a week thing. So I'm really trying to dock up stuff. So but Jerry is going to cook, and let me just tell you about Jerry. You might know him as Comic Cuts, but he's also Action Cuts, aka when it comes to James Bond, when it comes to Mission Impossible, when it comes to Fast, he's a big Fast and Furious fan. He knows his stuff. So I am really excited to see what I can't. Exactly.
From day one.
Yup, and I can't. And yes, he's like the OG of comics already. I mean, he's on Culture Pool doing his thing. Shout out to Culture Pool as well, my guy. But you are going to see a whole different side of him on Action, and I think Action is his best. And that's crazy because he's really good here. Really good here.
Yeah. I'm going to be recording for you guys. I'm going to take some time this weekend and put some stuff on. If there's anything you want to hear from us, if there's a perspective that you're interested or anything, let us know because we'd be happy to take suggestions. And if it's something good, we would make that content. And then you would you have access to reach out to us and get, you could say, hey, what do you think about Galactus being in this movie and why, or who is your favorite Spider-Man villain and what's your favorite comic with that villain, or which comic series should I read, or which movie, or whatever. And if I was just figuring things out and I was watching a podcast and someone told me I could DM them and they would make a video for me, I was lucky if someone would answer me when I'm asking them for a comic recommendation. You know, so you could actually reach out to us and you would get a custom video. Listen, we're going to share it on our channel and everything. It's not just going to get DM'd to you, But still, like, we'll answer your questions with a video.
Yep, and that's why we answer every comment in the chat, because your comment, it matters. There's going to hit a point to where we're getting 1,000 comments and we're not going to have, we can't go through them all.
Right,
but you know, but right now, you know, we're able to talk, like, it feels like we're having a convo with you guys, which makes it worthwhile. It makes it worthwhile, because like there was a while where it was just Jerry and I talking, you know, there was no chat.
Right.
So having you guys here, and look, I mean, it opens up more ideas for our mind too. So we thank you guys. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that when we post, have a wonderful day, and peace out, y'all.
Peace.